What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Green and Eagle Eye coming to again with a brand new video. This time it is to do the player ratings from Arsenal's performance where they beat Newcastle 2-0. And as the title of the video is, I thought it was a good performance, but let's not get gassed. We're in third, but it's more important we're in third and come the end of May. I don't really care less if I'm third in April. Come end of May is where it's important, and that's the important thing to keep in mind here. But I actually thought it was a good performance. I think it's interesting because, you know, I watched a couple of the fan cams from Arsenal Fan TV, and I also know a couple of people that were there at the match yesterday, and it's amazing how vastly different that people see the game when they watch it from at home versus when they watch it at the stadium, because there were a couple of things where they felt that they saw the game in a completely different way to how I saw it. They felt like it was a bitty performance and it wasn't that great. I actually thought the performance was a cruise control performance. It was us performing at gear 2 through the entire game. Newcastle posed little to no threat. I don't remember Leno having to make, I think, more than one save the entire game. One decent save. Yeah, I mean, Richie caused us problems initially. Almiron didn't even cause us that many problems. I was expecting much more of a problem. There was one run I remember him making against Mustafi, because why wouldn't you target Mustafi? And it was clear in the early stages they were attempting to target Mustafi because my man was literally handing the damn ball to them. I was like, what are you doing, bro? Sorry, it was literally kicking the ball down to them, not handing it. But actually, I actually thought it was a good performance. I say good in the sense that there was no stress, there was no worries, kept a clean sheet. And as I said in the build-up to this and in my preview, this is the same team that somehow beat Man City. I know that looks pretty unbelievable on the back of yesterday's performance, but this is a team that is capable. Unfortunately for them, they were coming to the Emirates. They don't have the greatest of records at the Emirates. In fact, their most recent claim to fame when it comes to success at the Emirates was when we were 4-0 up and they came back to 4-4, which, don't get me wrong, it felt like a loss. I mean, it would feel like a loss to anyone. I don't care who you're playing. If you're 4-0 up against them, you better close that game out. But we didn't lose that game. So, to me, I felt like it was a good performance. We did what we needed to do, and it's on to the next. And this is where I start to worry, because we as Arsenal fans get gassed, the players get gassed, and then they get complacent. And Everton is the type of game, Everton away is the type of game to get complacent. We need to improve our away form. Listen, it's better than last season. It went hard to improve on last season's nonsense. Let's have it right. It wasn't a good performance last season. So we need to make sure that we are on point going into this particular game. Anyway, I'll save all that for the preview. Let's get into the player ratings from Arsenal players versus Newcastle. Let's start with Bernd Leno in goal. I actually thought he did well in the sense that I thought the building up from the back, there were a couple of times where they tried to press, and I actually thought he handled the pressure really well. The one thing he's very good, he's clearly a very comfortable footballer. And that shows in situations like that. For me, don't mind the trolley in the background. You probably saw it through the window here. But yeah, for me, I would give Leno a 7 out of 10. Let's start with a 3. So it was a 3 at the back. Let's start with my friend Squadron Mustafi. Let's just put it this way. I hope Koscielny is fit on Sunday. It wasn't great. Let's put it like that. But I have to say this. I actually thought in the second half he got better. It was hard to get worse. And all he could really do was improve. But I had to say this. He didn't give a goal away. He did give the ball away a couple of times. If a screw-up was going to happen, it was going to be Mustafi to do it. He didn't. I give him that credit. So for me, I'll give him a 6 out of 10. I thought he was fine. Sort of. Who do we go next to? Let's go to Socrates. I think people overrate Socrates' performance. I don't think it was actually his best. He looked like someone that was almost trying to get to the pace of it. I know he suffered an injury in international week, and it took him some time to get into the game for me yesterday. For me, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he was fine, but I don't think he was his usual self. I love his shithousery though. I mean, I know it technically stopped Ramsey from scoring that disallowed goal, but you see those sort of things in the Premier League all the time. The ref had a mare. I'll rate the ref for the very first time. I'm going to rate the ref. But I just love his shithousery. But for me, I'll give I'll give Socrates a 7 out of 10. Monreal I actually thought was the best out of the central defenders. Best performance I've seen from him in a while. I thought constantly had to actually clean up for both of them, not just for Mustafi, but to be fair for Socrates as well, and was good cover whenever Kolasinac was steaming ahead and was out of place. I didn't think it was the greatest of defensive performances from Kolasinac, but let me get back to Monreal. Yeah, good performance from Monreal. Clearly likes that position. He doesn't have to run too far. He's getting older these days. I feel him, don't worry. For me, I'll give him an 8 out of 10. I thought he was the best out of the 3. Kolasinac, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he was getting ripped apart by people on Twitter a lot. But I actually thought he provided good outlets. Actually, a lot of the problems we were causing were due to his runs on the left-hand side. So I didn't really understand that criticism. Defensively, though, I definitely understand the criticism. You know, I thought we'd sorted that out. Siad, whatever your first name is. It weren't the greatest of defensive performances, it has to be said. But when you got Monreal behind you, you got Iwobi in front of you, who will at least work hard. I think by all means, I thought he was well covered. So for that reason, I will give him a 7 out of 10. On the other side, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, again, I thought going forward was very, very good. Really, yeah. My only issue with Ainsley Maitland-Niles was the fact that I felt like sometimes he was a little bit casual, and a lot of his errors seemed to stem from when he was in a casual mood. And I want to see him cut that out of his game. But I think he's maturing nicely into the role, actually. I'm really encouraged by him, particularly in the first half. He had a strong first half where a lot of our attacking success was coming from their left-hand side and our right-hand side. And that was a lot of it was due to him and his energy. His runs and his low draw crosses were causing plenty of problems, and I really enjoyed that. So well done to him, and I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Who's next? Let's go with Matteo Guendouzi. Now, here's someone who has very much split the opinion of, well, yeah, he split the opinion of pretty much everybody who watched the game, particularly the people who watched it at the Emirates and the people who watched it at home. At the Emirates, I think people felt that he misplaced the ball. And listen, I'll be real with you guys. He does have, and I said this yesterday, a touch of the Alex Iwobi to him. He just does. You know, he is someone who is someone who is very kind of vibrant and youthful and he always seeks to be on the ball. He's just like a typical young person. And does a lot of fundamental things correctly. And does the occasional fundamental things horribly. But he's a 19-year-old kid. He is. Personally, I thought he was good. And I think people didn't understand my critique of him yesterday because I compared him to Xhaka. One thing I've noticed in Xhaka's game is that these days when he gets the ball, his first instinct, particularly in the last 7 or 8 games, and miraculously, those have been his best 7 or 8 games for Arsenal. His first instinct now is to look forward. Don't think about looking backwards. That's what Torreira is there for, or that's what Guendouzi is there for. Your job is to look forward. And it always makes me think to myself, well, why wouldn't you think this more? And I think we've seen him come out of his shell because of that. Ironically, I actually think playing that way suits him better. And I think with Guendouzi, he's a little bit of a step behind at the moment because I don't think his natural game is a defensive midfielder. Ironically, I actually think it's Xhaka's role. But while Xhaka is there, he's now going to have to find a way of saying to himself, right, I need to play the right balls correctly. Your short passing needs to improve though, son. It needs to improve because you've got the same weird issue that Xhaka does with short passing. You're a central midfielder. Short passing is kind of essential to your game. But other than that, I have no issue with Guendouzi. And for me, I'd give him a 7 out of 10. Aaron Ramsey, I thought, was fantastic yesterday until he had to come off. Got himself the goal. Had himself a disallowed goal that should have stood. His runs were constantly causing them problems. And I give this boy a lot of credit. He's not someone that I'd rate as top tier. But I must admit, even he's got me sat here thinking, shit, are we sure we made the right decision letting this guy go? And this is coming from me. If you're a long-time subscriber of me, you know me and Ramsey don't get on. But even I'm sat here thinking, gosh damn. Like I'm really seeing how professional he is. And that might be a mark to the man. You know, he's maturing, he's 28, going on to 29. And we're now starting to see the best of Aaron Ramsey. And typical our luck, he's leaving the club with it. But good luck to him, man. Just for me, just because of the way he's finishing the season, good luck to him. Honestly, all the best to that guy. 8 out of 10. My man of the match is Mesut Ozil, who I thought was fabulous yesterday. And you know what? It was legitimately a performance that I enjoyed a lot. Not because he was doing all these silky skills or anything, but because he was actually working hard and putting in a shift. And fair play to Mesut, I actually think, and fair play to Emre, because Emre faced a lot of criticism about the way he managed that Mesut Ozil situation. But actually, what this whole episode has shown is that Emre managed it perfectly. He called him out, and Mesut answered. And we're now starting to see some good, solid performances out of Mesut Ozil. So fair play to him. And for me, I'll give him a 9 out of 10. You see, I can praise Mesut Ozil when it is due. When it is due. And yesterday it was due. Up front, we're going to go with Lacazette. Lacazette, for me, I thought worked really hard, got himself a goal, deserved goal. I thought played very well. I know people are going to say should have had a second because it was disallowed, but perhaps there was another opportunity where he could have finished a bit better. But for me, I thought it was brilliant, and I'll give him an 8 out of 10. Talking about the subs, let's talk. Oh, I completely forgot about Alex Iwobi. And maybe there's a reason for that. I'll be honest, I didn't think it was his greatest performance. I really didn't. Was just a bit flat. Just looked a bit tired. I don't know what to say, and it was no surprise that he got taken off. Emre normally likes keeping him on the field, but yesterday he had to take him off. And yeah, honestly, I'll give Iwobi a 6. I ain't giving him worse than Mustafi, so I'll give him a 6. Aubameyang got himself an assist, and I actually thought worked very hard for someone that supposedly had a cold, which is the reason he didn't start the game. I actually thought played very well. There was one run in particular that he had on the right-hand side, and I thought, and he just absolutely bun that player. Completely just took the ball and just ran that channel. I thought, bruh, why don't you do that more? Because I think you started to lose your pace, but then when I see that, I think, oh, maybe not. But yeah, I thought it was very, very good. Got himself a good assist. The handshake celebration, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Because he's a sub, people. Let's not get carried away. I'm trying to think of other substitutes. El Nene I thought was fine. I'll give him a 5 out of 10. And who was the other substitute? I'm trying to think who came off. I can't remember. Can't remember who came on. Sorry, people. Can't remember. Emre, I thought did what he had to do. Set out a good team, balanced team. Oh, Mkhitaryan. Just remembered that. Mkhitaryan, I'll give Mkhitaryan a 6. I actually thought was quite lively when he came on. I thought Emre, I'll give him an 8 out of 10. Put out a good team, got the job done, kept a clean sheet. Now in 3rd place. Not a lot more I could ask from him. He needs to keep that team focused, because this is usually about the time where they start getting gassed. And the referee, I'm not one to slaughter the referee, because, you know, I understand how difficult their job is. But I'm gonna lie, it was terrible. I'll give him minus 10. It was terrible. And that's pretty much it from me, people. Sorry this was such a long video in the end. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Leave the comments below. If you like this video, please crush, please destroy, please drop kick the shit out of that like button. I appreciate it every single time, genuinely, when you guys do that. Let's see if we can get up to 80 likes for this video. Alright, people, I'm out of here. Take care.